Hi guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and today I'm going to speak about training. I want to bridge the gap between movement and nutrition, what I've been talking about in the last few videos. So today I want to give you an overview of the different kind of trainings that you can do for your health, for your performance. What are some of the benefits and disadvantages of said training, and how to choose the right one for your goals. And most of the time, your goals are very similar to pretty much everybody else. It's going to look better. So it implies having a bit more muscles, having less body fat, improve your body composition, be fitter, as in not puffing and huffing when you're climbing up the stairs, being able to move pain-free and play with the people that you like and enjoy freedom of movement, basically. When it comes to all of the above, there are two markers that are super important. The first one is VO2 max, and the second one is your muscle mass. So muscle mass is pretty self-explanatory. VO2 max is the maximum volume of oxygen your body is capable of delivering and consuming in a given time period. As far as fitness goes, if you can improve those two things, then you are pretty much guaranteed to look better, to perform better, to be fitter, to move faster, easier, have more endurance, have more strength, have a better relative strength ratio. So it's the relationship, or the ratio, between your strength and your body weight. And those are the two that you really want to work on. Now I'm going to speak today only about muscle mass and strength training. Also, full disclosure here, the cardio part is not my specialty and not really something that I'm super knowledgeable about. So I'm going to really focus on the strength part and the muscle building. Okay, so if you want to increase your muscle mass, it's pretty obvious that you are going to engage in some sort of strength training or resistance training. So moving again a resistance, like a weight, for example. What's not so clear in a lot of cases is the different kind of sports that you are actually training for in order to have the results that you want and be successful with the time and effort that you put into your fitness. And what ends up happening very, very often is that people go to the gym and they start to do pretty much everything and anything, or pick some random advice from their cousin, from their girlfriend, from their uncle, from their colleagues, boss, whatnot. And then they end up doing a mishmash of stuff that is just not really appropriate for them, nor is it something that they can really apply progressive overload. So they are not seeing any kind of progress. It makes sense then to pick one sport that is going to inspire you to train and to be committed, or at least to be consistent with your training, because this is the single most important factor for your training. You can have the best training plan, the best exercise, the best coach, but if you train only 1 week per year, then it's not going to make any sort of positive change. The different sports that you have in the gym are bodybuilding, weightlifting or Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, CrossFit, and athletic training, for lack of a better word. Okay, the first one, bodybuilding. So the main goal here is to go on a stage and look the most muscular and the most ripped, which is going to make you look the most muscular. So the goal here is not really to perform any kind of strength feat on stage, but really it's all about the way that you look. And actually, in most cases, for the people going to the gym, this is going to be the right choices as far as the type of training that you are going to actually do. Bodybuilding training is without a doubt the best way to increase your muscle mass because the training is designed to do exactly this. It also happens in a super controlled fashion and environment. So it means that bodybuilding training is actually very, very safe, contrary to a lot of popular beliefs. And if you don't do anything stupid and use your common sense, then you are going to make great progress if you actually do that type of training. Next one is weightlifting or Olympic weightlifting. And the goal of this sport is to throw over your head the maximum amount of weight in two different moves. The first one is the snatch, the second one is the clean and jerk. And this requires a lot of technical skill, which is also super interesting for a lot of people. It's always great to learn a new skill and to really invest some time in developing it further and further and getting better at it. The main goal here though is not to look super ripped and have a lot of muscle. So it just happens as a byproduct because of the demands of the sport. Then we have powerlifting. The goal here is to move the highest amount of weight on 3 movements. It's the squats, the bench press, and the deadlift. Now here, the same as for Olympic weightlifting, the main goal is not to look a certain way, but really to show how strong you are. And it certainly helps to keep and improve your muscle mass, definitely. But it's not looking a certain way is going to be a byproduct of the sport. Strongman training. Maybe you might think that this is the kind of stuff only for the freak of nature, the big ones that are freakingly strong. And this is true because they are, but at the same time, this is also a kind of training that is actually very, very enjoyable, very fun, and has a lot of benefit because it not only requires a lot of strength and requires you to develop that strength, but it also has a lot of demand on your cardiovascular system. So it's really a very good combination of strength training and quite intensive cardiovascular training. The next one is CrossFit. It's kind of the new kid on the block, or not so much anymore, but most probably the youngest from all of the sports. And it's really a mix of different disciplines that all of them requires a lot of strength, but also a lot of cardio and different kind of skills. And they are even doing swimming and kayak and riding, mountain biking, that kind of stuff. So it covers a lot of grounds, but the sport is super intense and really requires you a lot of technical proficiency so that you can do it in a safe way. Last one, athletic training, is not really a sport in itself, but it's more like the strength training or the type of training that athletes do in order to get stronger and mitigate like injury risk when they go play on the field. So it's going to be a big mix of all the other sports, but also some jumps and some movements that are more specific to the sports that they are actually performing. So someone who's playing golf is going to train differently than someone who plays basketball. Yet at the end of the day, all of this relies on the same kind of principles that you will find on all of those examples. And the main principles, there are 2. The first one is progressive overload, which only means that you are going to increase the load little by little over time. This is what you need in order to make progress, in order to build your muscles, in order to get stronger. And the other one is just going to avoid the injury. There's a saying that says like the person who remains injury free the longest wins. So it certainly is true. And for somebody who's not a world-class athlete, then there's absolutely no reason to go into extremes and become so specialized that you're going to break, and even more so if you are a world-class athlete actually. So I spoke about increasing muscle mass using this kind of training. There's one caveat to that. So obviously training is absolutely necessary in order to increase muscle mass, but you also need nutrition. This is something that is going to be a non-negotiable, and also some sort of stress management and appropriate recovery for the requirement of the sports. So here's the take-home message of this overview of the different type of training that we have. So if you want to be healthy and increase your fitness, you want to look at VO2 max, which is more the cardio part of it, and your muscle mass, which you need resistance training for. You can do this in training either like a bodybuilder, like a powerlifter, like an Olympic weightlifter, like a strongman, like a CrossFitter, or like an athlete. And you can do this as little as 1 hour per week, and you are still going to get some benefit from that type of training. 1 hour, it's super little, but you're really going to see some benefit from it. So this is my invitation for you to start training as soon as you can. If you watch the video until that point, it means either one of two things. First, you are actually trying to get healthier and fitter. So please subscribe, because I am going to keep making those videos and you are going to learn a ton of things. Or second, you really like the sound of my voice. Either way, subscribe and I'll keep delivering the goods.